Hello, welcome back. It's the Cooper channel again. I'm Scott Cooper. I forgot my notes. There they are. And Wembley, Wembley, we're the famous Aston Villa and we're off to Wembley. That's my recap. That's it. That's all you're getting. No, there's more, of course. And yes, we are off to Wembley. We're into the semi-final of the FA Cup. Axel's back. Here he is. My dog Axel says hi to everyone. I know he was a big fan of last week's episode, so here he is again. He's going to help me out, and yes, we're all very excited. We're into the semi-final of the Cup. We've got Blackburn or Liverpool. Hopefully, Blackburn. I don't know what he just ate, but that didn't sound too nice. Yeah, so hopefully Blackburn, but it'd be great to knock off Liverpool too. That should be a big game. Looking forward to it. Well, let's talk about the game on the weekend though. West Brom at home, quarterfinal of the Cup. Got up in the, well, actually I stayed up. I went to a wedding beforehand, and then at 1:30 in the morning, got home, watched the game, starting lineup. Here it was, and yeah, we get the great news that Benteke's injured. So first of all, I'm really worried. I'm thinking, okay, is this a long-term thing? This is a pretty big game. Or is he just resting him? Is it just a knock? And then we find out that it was just a knock. He should be all right for Sunderland on the weekend, which is good. But then you look at the same lineup that starts, and I'm thinking, ooh, this might be a tough game. We look a bit weaker on paper, especially without the big man. So my mate was in Zogbia's second game in a row. He's the new saviour apparently. No, well, he was wide on the left, which I was a little bit concerned about because he does love to do that, cut in on his left foot, which can be predictable. But he was sort of working with what we had. So Sinclair was back in, which I'm a big fan of. Was good, cleverly took up that sort of spot, that number 10 spot, I guess, attacking midfield. Again, working with what we've got. So the first half was, well, we don't really have to talk about that. We were poor. We came out of the blocks shocking. We were all over the place at the back. We were Stretch, Clark, Akora. We were all over the place. Hutton as well was sort of getting caught going too far forward. We couldn't hold the ball in the midfield. And Zogbia, Delph, Westwood were all, losing the ball. And it was quite a poor game from both sides, but they, in the first 15-20 minutes, had some great chances, and let's be honest, should have been about 2 or 3-0 up. But that one from Idai, where he put over the bar from 5 or 6 yards out, well, that kind of thing. We haven't had luck like that for a while, but Sherwood seems to be bringing it, so that's a good thing. So anyway, we'll go past the first half because, that was terrible. I actually fell asleep. Yep, I fell asleep, and I fell asleep on the couch, woke up at about 8 o'clock, 8:30 the next morning. The replay was on, and the game was at exactly the point where I fell asleep. Get that? So I didn't really miss the match, I guess. I just had a little sleep in between. Half time, Sherwood must be a magician, I reckon, because whatever he said to the players at half time was, again, not for the first time in his very short tenure, was inspirational, because they came out a totally different team. We lifted 100%. Delph, Westwood, Lowton, and Zogbia. Yeah, I said it. Zogbia changed that whole game. And they were more attacking, we were more direct, we were getting runners past the ball, which I think is a really good sign, and something we haven't seen under Lambert at all. Really, it's like just Gabby coming short, getting the ball in these sort of areas cleverly, and then Sinclair and Zog, even Delph, running past the forwards into sort of these areas, and players like Westwood and Delph, who get criticised for just passing the ball sideways all the time, they have options forward, so they actually can play a ball over the top or a defence splitting ball because they've got the options, which was great. So, and Zogbia had a really good second half, but he's not back. I just want to say that to everyone. I saw a lot of comments like, he's back to his Wigan days, oh, he's the saviour. Tim Sherwood himself coming out and saying things like, he's got a lot of experience in these relegation battles. That's because his teams are always poor. Think about that. Why? And Sherwood also saying about him that, you know, I'm giving him extra training, I want him to be fit, I want him to, you know, be electric, you know, I want him to be flying. Well, that's great and all, and he's taking it on, which is good, well done, but why wasn't he doing that before? Why? Because I think he's a little bit selfish, a little bit lazy, a little bit of a, you know, there is an I in team kind of guy, which there isn't. I did do English at school, and I'm pretty sure there is no I in team, but there is an idiot. So, he's not back, but he played well. I'm going to give him a well done, Zog. Keep it going, alright? You know, I'm back on board a little bit, but you're not back. You're not back yet. You've got to keep going. Alright, so, you know, the goal. So, Nzogbia did well, turned, ran at his man, and then played a good pass to Delph, who did his typical power finish. Boom, 1-0, good stuff. You know, I'm thinking then, you know, after the start, we're going places in this game. Second goal, Sinclair showed a real good bit of class here. It's something that we haven't really had for a long time. It's like just composure, touch, you know, confidence in that final third. The ball gets knocked to him. He's got a man on his shoulder, cuts inside, a little Cruyff turn, lovely curling finish, no chance, 2-0, game over. Yeah, so that's the sort of biggest difference we've got at the moment, is that, like I was saying before, we're being positive, we're running past the man with the ball, running past the forwards, knocking the balls into sort of into these areas, getting, and it's freeing up the wide areas. Both goals came because Zogby on the first goal turned his man, Sinclair on the second goal made a run past Agbonglahor and got given the ball there and cut in. So the other thing, the elephant in the room, the thing I haven't mentioned yet, were the crowd invasions. Okay, first of all, I loved it. Alright, I'm just going to say, I fucking loved it. Alright, I will say the 20 or 30 people that came on during the game, and, you know, there was a few idiots, you know, and there is issues with player safety, I know all that. But the rest of it was fine. The majority of the people on at the end of the game, that's fine. That's fine for me. That's great. I mean, how long has it been since we had something to cheer about? Really? I mean, I know it's a quarter-final, and like we've been getting the piss taken out of us. Oh, you won a quarter-final. Well done. But that's something big for us at this moment. It was against a local rival. We've got a Wembley semi-final coming up, and it was like the pressure valve had just been released, and like the whole crowd just exploded in that moment and went mental. And you know, why else do you go to the football? You go to the football for moments like that. And you know, the kids and the sort of families that were on the field, they weren't hooligans. They were kids that you probably hadn't seen Villa win 2 games in a week before, some of them. So I mean, it really, new manager, 2 games in a week, cup semi-final, beat the Baggies twice in a week, and it was just like, it was a balloon and it exploded, and there was just joy in the stadium. And you know, I think the media's sort of take on it is disgusting. Like, you know, I mean, the fans on that ground were not angry, they weren't violent, they were happy, they were jumping around, they were running around, you know, it was fantastic. And like, there was no mention in the media of the Baggies fans throwing seats, or the Baggies players that tripped up the Villa fans when they ran on the field. But anyway, so I'm going to wrap it up now. I think it was great. I mean, we've got to keep this momentum going. It's like a snowball. It's got to keep rolling, get bigger and bigger, because we've got Sunderland on the weekend, which is huge, just massive game. They're currently just ahead of us. If we win, we go ahead of them, and then not only are we out the bottom 3, we're out the bottom 3, and there's a team between us and the bottom 3. Do you know what I mean? It's a massive game. We've got to go in with a positive lineup. Hopefully Benteke will be back. I would say Benteke for, I don't know, Nzogbia or Cleverly. I mean, I'll give Nzogbia a chance, I guess. And then bring our Gabby back into that sort of role there. But we've got to be, it's all about the intent, the intensity. We need a good start. We didn't start well in the game against West Brom, so we need a good start. We need the intensity, and let's do it. Come on, 3 in a row. I mean, it's dream well, but it could really be here. 3 wins in a row, please. 2 Premier Leagues in a row. Come on.